It's an internet slang emerging in China used to describe a lifestyle among young people in urban areas. So basically, they're not employed by any companies, but staying at home and providing services to their parents. So technically their employers are their parents.
Can you give us some examples, people you've spoken to who are full-time children?
Yeah, I have spoken to a few of them, and one of the most interesting case is a woman. She's 31 years old and now not working for any company. And basically her job is cook 3 meals for her parents and playing Tai Chi with her mom, fixing mobile phones for her, and making plans for parents if they want to go travel. So basically it's a role that combines, tech problem solving coordinator and personal assistant plus just a secretary. And as return, her parents pay her about like Australian dollars 1,600 per month to support her life. And she is among this group, and she described herself as a full-time daughter.
I know work is very hard to come by at the moment, but this seems like a really unusual arrangement with parents. Why are people turning to this option?
Yeah, exactly. And it's really complicated, Yvonne. So basically, like the first reason, obviously, it's related to very specific circumstances they have been facing collectively. So this woman I just mentioned, she told me she shut down her company by herself because she couldn't see the possibility to improve the company's profitability in future, and it's been declining by 10% every year. And another young person I've interviewed, he told me he just couldn't stand the work culture in his company, and he basically works from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 5 days a week, and he said it's still okay-ish comparing to all the other colleagues in his office. So I think there's a change of people's attitude to work, and also an increasing number of young people realized that, the economy is not serving them and the work culture doesn't really provide them a better life. And the second reason is a bit more complicated. So most of these people I've spoken to are from the one-child policy and living in China's urban area. So it's worth to note, I guess, that being full-time child or full-time children is a very, very privileged choice to make. And most of these people, they get all the resources from their parents, but they also need to bear all the responsibilities of taking care of them when they're getting older. So this combines together, makes them feeling like they have the responsibility to go back to home and, take care of their older parents. But their parents also want to, pay them something and support this only child's life. So this is all these reasons made them ends up making the decision of being full-time children.
But isn't it part of the Chinese culture anyway? Wouldn't they, as children, be expected to look after and spend time with their parents? It appears the only difference here is because of the economic situation, they're getting paid for it.
It's very true that in China, it's, comparing to most of the Western countries, it's not that uncommon that, grown-up children living together with parents. But the difference of this generation compared to the previous one is, for example, my own parents, they take care of their parents, my grandparents, while they are still employed. But this generation, this situation facing them is they probably couldn't find jobs, and they probably want to quit their jobs. And instead of being employed by a company, now they are employed by their parents, and they became their parents' assistants.
I'm sure it's not so straightforward. How do people view this kind of role? You're saying that it's quite a privileged one to have. What's the public reaction?
Yeah, definitely some debates around it. So some sociologists I've spoken to, they told me they have also found this kind of lifestyle is really stigmatized among, older people. And they accuse these young people for being, there's a word called deeds, like not in education, employment, or training, or in a Chinese way to say that is 啃老族, which literally translated as parent eater, or people who eat their parents. But like these young people told me, their parents themselves don't seem minded at all. Because they're all the only child in their family, and they said all their parents want is their children can be happy and healthy. And also, like in society, I think an increasing number of young people have expressed online that they really feel the feeling of these young people staying at home because everyone knows the economy is not doing really well. And we have seen some discussions online that they said like they feel sorry for these young people and think this is a good alternative way to cope with the current situation.
How common is this role of full-time children among Chinese residents?
From data released by a well-known think tank in China, the estimated number is 16 million. Young people are currently unemployed, and most of them chose to be full-time children. And of course, we couldn't evaluate whether this number is that accurate, but I think this can provide us a rough picture about the estimated number of this group.
16 million, that's a lot. What kind of long-term impacts will this kind of arrangement have on society in general, do you think?
Yeah, so I have spoken to an economist about this, and what he said is this situation would last for long. So it wouldn't be a short-term problem that can be solved overnight. It might last for, as long as decades. And how to maintain social stability would be one thing that the government need to think about. Because imagine a large group of young people couldn't find job, are not employed in the country, and the economy wouldn't see a magic bounce back anytime soon. That would be a challenge. And so we can only wait and see what would happen next.
Indeed, it's really fascinating. Thanks so much, Joyce.
Thank you.